Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we are going to be working over in this area of the city once more. In a recent video, we went in and we pretty much finished up the back corner of the city there with the trees, as well as the foliage and all of the smaller details down there that you can see, like the benches and the little area of greenery and flowers right there. And I think that looks really, really good. However, this area needs a little bit of work. And so in that video, we created 3 trees. And so as you can see, there are 2 that are in a similar design. And then there's this one here, which is a little bit different, which has a little bit of an angle in it as well. And then I had just kind of tentatively placed that there just to see how this would kind of shape up the area here. And I do think that this area needs a 3rd tree, so I'm going to leave it there for the time being. But we need a ramp to get up to the train station, because on the other side here is the staircase. So I need a spot for wheelchair access, and so that is why a ramp is going to go over here. But that being said, I need to go ahead and actually design one and also fill in this entire area here, because there's not a lot of stuff going on here. It's just a couple of random trees and a bunch of open space. So let me go ahead, let me get started on this, and I will show you guys what I come up with. So the first thing to do was to take out this little tree right here. While the technique is cool, it's basically just the big leaf pieces, and then you put the olive green little stems through each of the holes there to make a pretty full looking set of branches. I could do better than this, and I know we could do better than that, so we are going to get rid of that. And then we also need to figure out the ramp and that whole shape and size of it as well. I have a few 4x4 tiles in light gray, and so I just connected them together with some pieces here, the tops of turntables actually, and then also the 2x4 plate there. And this, I think, could look pretty good if we put that somewhere around there. I don't know if I want it to just come straight down and then have a walking path here and then just green space around and then in that little corner. Or if I want to angle it towards the sidewalk, maybe, that could work. It would have to be a little bit shorter and possibly a little bit steeper as well. But I think we can make that work. I just need to figure out how I want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to try a couple different things. I'm going to see what I like, see what I don't. And by the time I come back with the next clip, hopefully I'll have some concrete stuff going on here that I can show you guys. All right, so I've gone through a couple different iterations here. And while this doesn't look like much, it's just a couple of studs on a jumper. This is the main thing that I came up with here. So as you can see, it started out with 6 of the 4x4 tiles, and now we're down to just 3. And then I had added a 2x4 and a 2x3 tile in. And the reason why I had this notch here was actually for that little pillar right there. So then once the ramp goes in, then the pillar can actually stay there and not look out of place. And so I think that looks pretty good. And then the bottom of the turntable here just rests on the stud with the hole in it. So that is all good. And then the rail plate and the jumpers here help line the tiles up with the other tiles for the sidewalk. And I think that looks pretty good. It is a little steep, but I think it gets the idea across, and I think that looks pretty good. And it's also a pretty decent space saver as well. I could have had it come out the front or just straight away from the door and then end like here maybe. But I don't know if I'd like that, and it would probably take up a lot more space, and then I also needed to add tiles going around this way. So I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. I think this is probably better. And now what I'm debating is whether I want to leave this gap open under the ramp here or if I want to close it off. The stairs on the other side here are open underneath. As you can see, it's not fully filled in under here. I could stick my finger in there. So I'm thinking to keep it in the same style. I want to leave it like this, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Does that look dumb? Does that look weird? Or is that actually a decent design? Let me know. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep working on this. And I will show you guys what I come up with once I get that platform done right outside the front door. All right, so this is what I've come up with here. And so you already saw this already. This is just the 4x4 tiles and then the extra couple tiles here for the notch for the little pillar. And then on the bottom here, as you can see, I swapped out that rail plate for a gray jumper. And then I added a 1x3 and a 1x2 jumper along the edge there. And then I added a 1x6 plate underneath just to make it look like it's a little bit thicker than it actually is. And then that is just going to sit there like that. And then there is a little bit of a gap here, which I don't love, but I don't think it's that bad. I think that looks all right. And then you'll see that I made the platform here. I think this looks pretty good. I did also go in and add some black bricks behind the arch there. I went in and I added an arch just because the stairs had an open underside as well as this ramp does too. And so I figured that made a little bit more sense than just having a completely blank wall. But I did do the blank wall on the far side here just because I don't think it needed another arch. I think it's fine as it is. But I think this looks pretty good. And so now I just need to make a handrail so that people can hold on to it if they need assistance walking up, and then also so they don't fall off the edge. That is pretty much where I'm at, though. I think this is looking pretty good so far, and then we can start to work on the rest of this area pretty soon. But I want to get this done, and then we can start to figure out what the rest of this green space is going to have on it. All right, so I haven't done a whole lot in this area specifically. I'm still trying to work out the fence for this, if I want it to be on the outside row of studs here, if I want it to be in line with this last row on the actual platform itself. Haven't decided that yet, so that's why I haven't really done anything. And I did mention in a video the other day that I can't really do much to this area because I'm going to want it to look like this, so there's a little bit of cohesion here. But I don't have any more of the green 3-leaf pieces on the bottom, nor do I have many of the green angled minifig action poses right there, and I'm also out of the green Wolverine claws as well. So I can't really do this area yet, but we're going to save this hopefully either for another video or at the end of this video. I haven't fully decided yet because I don't know the plan of what's happening, but I've been pretty busy over here. And so basically what you'll notice first is that I added the sidewalk in so that people can actually get from the sidewalk over to the stairs here. So that's all good, and I think it looks okay. I was going to go for the same pattern that was over there with just the 2x2 light gray tiles in the middle, but I wanted to change it up a little bit, and so this is what I came up with here. I don't know how I feel about this. It looks a little silly, but I felt like it looked better than not having these two tiles in the middle. I like the patterns on the outside. I just don't know if I like the 2x2s in the middle. So let me know what you think of that. And then over here, what you saw when I first walked over here was the corner kiosk, which was the give with purchase with the Tudor corner. I had it on an angle here. I think this looks pretty good, but I don't know what I would do with this right here. Putting it here seems a little too far back and out of place, but then if I put it over here, it also doesn't really seem right. It seems like it's also kind of out of place. So I was actually considering just putting this back straight and then putting this on the corner. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of that as well. I might just move it to here for the time being, just to make my life a little bit easier, get this out of the way, and then put this all over here, and then that will be all good to go. And one other thing that I did actually was go in and fix up the fence along the back of the station, because I've been meaning to do that since we rearranged the city 2 months ago, and I didn't do it. So today's finally the day. I grabbed the white picket fence pieces and I finished up this whole section, and so that's all good. The inspiration that I had used for this actually uses these. It's a similar style to the white picket fence, but it actually looks pretty similar to this. So I think these pieces, the pre-molded pieces, are perfectly fine for this. In that inspiration, though, the fence goes down the ramp, so I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if that would look any good. I could make it work, but then I couldn't really make it look good on the curve here. So I don't know what to do about that, so I'm just going to stop it here for the time being. So just going to leave it like that for now. But I did go in and also add a couple more figures. I added a couple of train engineers and conductors and things around here, and then just some figures along the platform here, and then that is pretty much everything up until this point. And so the train station is looking a lot better now. It's a lot of small changes, but it's a lot of good work that has been going into this, and so I'm really happy to finally be getting all these small details like the fence and the sidewalk and stuff like that in. It's making everything look a lot nicer. So with all of that done, I want to go in and I want to refine this a little bit, and I want to fix up the corner kiosk, and then we can kind of go from there. The bonsai tree is actually one other thing that I wanted to talk about. I like it here, but I did see that Lego is releasing, or have released, that new Japanese maple tree. I think that looks really, really good, so maybe I want to put that in this area as well. I don't know how tall it is, though. That's the only thing. I don't want it to be too tall, and then it's going to take away from the stuff behind it. So I'm going to leave the bonsai tree here for now. I don't even own that Japanese maple set, so I can't even add it if I wanted to. But I think that is something to consider also for the back section behind the train station and also where those other trees are. I could put it there if I really want, but that's just an idea. That is just something to note for the time being. But I'm going to go in, I'm going to fix up these details here, and I will show you guys the completed product. All right, so I've gone ahead and decided to just place it perpendicular to the street here, or I guess parallel to it instead of diagonal, like I was talking about in that previous clip, just because it makes my life a little bit easier and I don't have to worry about all of the individual tiles and things like that. And so that made my life a little bit easier. And then also I went ahead and I added this onto the corner here. That makes a little bit more sense for me because this rotates around, and so then people can stand here and also here and then see it as it goes around. So that works for me. They can also see the clock from the street, and then I added a couple figures and also this tiny little path here that goes to the back door for the employees. And I also went ahead and I added a little stack of newspapers behind the kiosk here. I can only find one print, unfortunately, so the stack's not as big as I would want it to be, but I think it gets the idea across and I think it looks pretty good. I went with this path or this style, which is just a continuation of the regular sidewalk, just because I felt like it needed a path. And then if you come over here, I don't think this type of beat up path really works for it. So I decided to go with a cleaner look, and although it's a little thin, I think it works for me. I think that looks perfectly fine. And so with that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to get to this section of the city today. I don't have the pieces for it, so I am going to have to be ordering those in the near future. But if you guys have any suggestions for it, please, please, please drop a comment down below. I would love to hear your guys' suggestions and what you want to see me add here. I've gotten some great ideas recently, and I'm going to try and see what I can do to add them in, but I want to know if you guys have any more for me before we get started. So seriously, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Once again, drop your comments down below to let me know what you guys want to see there. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.